Scene one, take one, action. Hey guys, my name is Johnny Jimenez and I want to talk to you about why September 13 means so much to me. September 13 means so much to me because on that day I experienced a major heart attack. What happened in those moments that I was just like completely unaware? So let's start off with, it was a Sunday. I got up from bed. I was in my computer. I remember when my mom came into my room and she was telling me, you know, have you gone to church? Are you gonna go to church? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go to church today. And she was like, okay, well, you know, don't forget to go to church. You know, it's good to go to church. And I was like, okay, Mom, you know, I'll see if I go, if I don't. So after that, you know, time had passed. You know, she came back from church and she was fixing a meal, and I was still on my computer, you know, and the AC was blowing right behind me, and I was just sitting down, bent, looking at my computer with my legs crossed in. I remember clearly she was making food. It was smelling great. I remember the food that she was making. She was making mole and with white rice. It smelled amazing. And I went to go see what she was doing in the kitchen. And as I was like looking at the food, I just felt like something right here that wasn't right. I was just like, I felt like a pressure. And then I was like, maybe I'm thirsty. Maybe it's water, because it felt like you get a heartburn, right? So I went to go drink some water. I drank some water from the faucet that we have, and I drank it, and then I drank it. I was just like, it didn't feel good. I coughed, and I remember that's when it happened. I coughed, and I felt something here stuck, you know? Felt like heartburn, like acid. So I went to my room to lay down because I thought it was just something that would go away. I laid down, it just kept bothering me. I remember clearly when I was in my bed, I got up and I felt, this thing, it just wasn't going away. And I remember I got up, I was like walking towards outside to the door, to the hall, to the kitchen. And I remember that right then and there is when I felt it. And I literally fell on my knees, fell to the ground, and I was literally calling my mom and saying, Mom, like, come here, because I felt like I could get up. I felt like I had my strength, but then I felt like just right here in this area, I couldn't push forward. It wasn't letting me. I felt like I had everything, every strength that I had, but it's just right here where it was the problem. I remember my mom came to me. At first she thought like, what was going on. Then when she saw me on the floor, she came to me and she was like, what's going on? She started crying. She started praying. She put her hand right here on my chest, started praying for me. She finished praying for me. I got up. I was going to get up. She took me to her room. I walked to her room. Remember, I sat down. I was holding on to the bars like this. And as I was holding on to the bars, I was just like, what's going on? I was like, God, if this is it, okay, fine. If this is not, then okay. But just let me get myself straight with you, right? And I remember my mom started calling my brother, Will. He started calling him, telling him what was going on, telling him, I was sweating profusely. And she just called all my brothers, all my sisters, and she was just in a panic mode, as every parent would be. And I remember they were sitting down there, we're just waiting, and I'm like, what's gonna happen? And like 100 things were going through my head. I was like, oh my goodness, I have homework. I didn't go to work. I need to call my work. I need to let them know, what happened. What am I going to do with school? I need to email my teachers. What am I going to do with work now? Am I going to go to work? Am I not? How long am I going to be in the hospital bills? I was just thinking about every single little thing. And I was just in a worry mode. But I was just having this, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know, this is not going to be an easy thing. And I remember doing that, and then my brother came, he came to look at me, and when he came just in the room looking at me like what was going on, literally like, again, everything in my blood just felt like rushing all the way to my head, and I felt like my lips were like being squished, like, squished out with, everything that it had. and I was pulled out, but still coming here, you know, so much pressure. And my brother saw me, he said that I just got pale white. And he was like, yeah, we need to take him to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. He drove over there. He was taking us, you know, he took me by himself. We didn't call the ambulance or anything. And I remember going there. I was in the back seat. I was just like I was just like, go fast, let's go. I know this is a heart attack. I feel my left arm, feel my jaw. I was like, I know, I've read about this. I've, you know, felt something in, like, it was just something in me that I just felt. As I was doing this, I got to the hospital. You know, I sat down in front of the lady, and they were still asking, like, hey, you know, what's going on? What are you gonna do? No, they weren't asking that, but they were asking, like, you know, the normal things. They're just like, okay, another person coming to your emergency room. What's your name? You know, so and so. I'm not gonna mention the hospital I went to, but you know, but it wasn't. They didn't take long. You know, they didn't take forever to be there, and that's the thing that I liked. They did everything, you know, quick. I went in there. They checked, you know, with the EKGs. They went in, they took me outside. I was still in a wheelchair when they had put me in. I was literally without a shirt because they took my shirt off, and I had to, you know, I was still sweating. And when they did that, they came back and they're like, you know what? We have to take him right now. You know, we already called the helicopter to come and pick him up because he's having a severe heart attack. This is not a joke. He's having a major heart attack, and we need to take him now before it's too late. He was like, I'm glad that you caught it on time, because if you didn't, it could have been too late. And I remember the nurse telling me that and really going from there, and I was just like, wow. You know, I know I'm having a heart attack, but I mean, I didn't even know there was like a major or like a least. I mean, what do you call it? Major, medium, you know, minor? I don't know. Anyway, so that was the craziness in there. So remembering this, you know, it was crazy. Once they, you know, took me into the emergency room, and they were sticking IVs here and there. And the ironic thing is that, you know, it's funny how, like, they tried to take blood out, but no blood was coming out. It was really hard to get blood out of me. I don't know why. That's just always been an issue. And then after that, after they were having a hard time, they were putting like pills underneath my tongue, and they were giving me morphine and, you know, trying to give me other medicines that would, like, you know, calm me down. And they didn't want to give me too much because they didn't want nothing to mess here, because they already had given me like a lot of doses, like high doses of to calm down, but nothing. And the funny thing is that throughout this whole time, you know, they were always asking, you know, what's your pain from 1 to 10? And knowing that if I were to say, you know, my pain is 3, or my pain is, you know, 5, because it doesn't hurt like crazy. Like if I broke my arm, I'm like, oh my gosh, yelling, you know, it's like different. I don't know how to explain pain. So in order for them to be like, you know, you know, in order for them to understand the pain, that it was not physically, but it was inner, I would always tell them it was an 8 or 9. Because if I were to tell them it was a 3, they would like not worry. That was my mentality. And I told them that, and they were always like, okay, we're trying to get this pain down. And I think that's when they tried to put more medicine in me, or more medication. And so we were waiting. They were just there checking on me, my family. They allowed my family to come in. My mom was there. You know, she prayed for me again. My brothers were there, praying for me too, and, you know, saying, you know, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be good. You know, in my head, I was just thinking, I'm fine. You know, I'm okay. You know, I'm a survivor. So then afterwards, the halo came. They took me in a helicopter, and I was excited about this moment, but I knew for the moment that if they came at that moment, all I think was like, oh my goodness. When I was in my last job, I had the opportunity to have an insurance for a halo flight, but didn't take the insurance. I was like, when am I ever going to be in a halo flight? And what do you know? I was halo flighting to the next town that had a bigger hospital and had more of care for patients like me who were having a major heart attack or severe heart attack. So we went there. They flew me there. It was my first time in a helicopter. It was so fun, but yet it was so painful. So you know, they were just there. They buckled me up. Everything was just like, they did it so awesome. I just want to give props to this Halo team, because these two guys did an amazing job for flying me over there. You know, not one complaint. Everything was so smooth. I was like, no effort. They did everything, and I was like, wow, amazing. So props to the Halo team from Corpus Christi, or you know, for the Halo team, and whoever works in these hospitals. And you know, I always want to give you props for everything that y'all have done, and really appreciate y'all, because y'all do amazing work. And you know, and no one can ask any more than what you do, and I appreciate that. Anyways, going through what I was saying, you know, we got there. They took me down to the hospital. You know, I had no idea what hospital I was in. I was just like moving my head around like this, and looking everywhere to see where I was. Those are things that were happening, and they got me down to the hospital. You know, I had nurses again ask me the same questions that they were asking me in the other hospital. Do you drink? Do you smoke? Have you taken any energy drinks? And I was like, no, I haven't taken any. And you know, they just ask you those things because they want to know, you know, the cause of it, what caused it, what was the issue, what was the thing that, you know, caused these things. And literally, I was a 25-year-old student in college with literally no issues of health. I wasn't allergic to anything. I have never ever done drugs. I never smoked, never drank, never ever, you know, did anything illegal. Anything, you know. I was a healthy student. Probably like the baddest thing that I did in that moment was, you know, sometimes ate out in restaurants. But I was working out. I was literally like, you know, getting my swole on, and as I was doing that, I was eating healthy at the same time. You know, there was occasions that I would go out to eat, but nothing, no problem. So even I was questioning myself why. Inside I knew something, like I knew it was gonna happen. Like I knew I was gonna have a heart attack, and it happened at the age of 25. And at the age of 25, I had this heart attack. I had a heart attack. And you know, the doctors kept on asking me, you know, do you do this? Do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you drink energy drinks? Have you ever, you know? I was like, no, I don't. I don't even like energy drinks. And so, you know, they took me to the hospital, and they took me to this operating room because they were waiting for the doctor, because he was on vacation. I feel so bad for this doctor, but I'm thankful for this doctor as well, for taking time to come and operating on me. And he came, you know, and you know, they stick something to your artery on your leg, and they stick it all the way to your heart in here. I felt it right in here, and they stick it in there, and pretty much what they do is like this little sponge or something that, you know, builds up, and it like unclogs you, you know, and that's what they did. And the doctor were telling me, you have a clot that was built. We don't know how it happened, but you know, we took out as much as we could, and you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. You're just gonna stay in the hospital for 5 days, for a whole week, and so we can keep monitoring you and see what, to figure out a little bit, you know, why this happened, because you say that you don't smoke, you don't drink anything, you haven't done drugs. So we want to see what the case is. And during those 5 days, you know, I had beautiful nurses. I had amazing nurses, you know, doctors, and that came and really wanted to, you know, really take care of me. You know, there was moments, I'm not gonna lie, it was not a perfect thing. You know, I did feel at that moment as the lowest of the lowest, but that would be at another level. So in those moments, how I felt was really crazy. You know, I felt like down deep to the lowest. I felt like everything that I stood for, that I thought of myself to be like arrogant, prideful, boastful about, was literally pushed down to the ground. And I felt like nothing. It didn't matter how much money I had in the bank. It didn't matter how, you know, good I was of an athlete. It didn't matter anything. How good I was, you know, how I looked, nothing mattered, because I was just in the bottom of the pit. And you at that moment I was just, with all the things they were bringing to me. The nurses were really good. Everybody was really good, trying to attend to the needs, financially, physically, and emotionally, and everybody was helpful. Everybody was really helpful at this time. But me and myself, I was broken. I was just like so overwhelmed with everything that had happened. And as it kept on going, the 5 days that I was been there, the doctor still couldn't find what was wrong with it. So they had to send me to a specialist who is a specialist in the DNA area. And so after the 5 days, they did this whole check on me, and it was a whole process of an extra month, 3 months, and literally 6 months process afterwards that I had to work with paperwork. I had to work with medicines, doctors, and all this stuff that was just a headache. But the point of this is, what I'm saying is, September 13 was the day that I had this heart attack, and that my life was totally changed. It totally changed who I was as a person and the way that I looked at this world. And my reason for telling you why this day, September 13, is so special to me is because, my life could have been taken at that moment. And at that moment, you realize what you are and where you stand at. And that's where I was. I realized that where I was and where I stood was not the best place that I wanted to be. And September 13 was an awakening to me to become a better person and to want to do good in this world and do good to others and do good to myself and loved ones who are surrounding me and help those who need help. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this video, because somewhere in there, somebody that is looking at this video right now, may have a person that went through this, may have a person who didn't make it through this, may have a person who's going through this whole issues of, paperwork. I just want to let you know, don't worry. Don't worry. That's the main priority thing. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. Your life is more important. Everything else will take care of itself. Believe me, that it's going to take care of itself. It will. It will. Trust me. Problems only last for a season, and then they'll be finished. You will come to a place where you have peace and rest, and then it's it's kind of like a cycle. But you're gonna pass through it. But it's only to make you stronger, only to make you as a better person. So whatever you do today, the most important choice that you have today is to make a choice and a decision of what you want your life to be about. What do you want? How do you want to affect others in this world? What do you want to do that will motivate other people to do good? So this video is all about good. It's all about positive. I want you to take this video as an inspiration that you too can do something good. Don't wait for what I had to go through, for you to learn. There's a lot of things to improve in one person's life by itself than just having a good finance, because I know that's important. Health. If you want to live long, if you want to do whatever it is that you want to do and put your mind to, you gotta have health. Number one, you gotta have health. Your health has to be correct. You gotta exercise. You gotta put yourself in a healthy diet so that your body can be fed what it needs to. Because if your body's not fed what it needs to, you're gonna go the wrong direction, and that's not what you want to do. You want to set up goals. My goals now is to inspire people through what I know I have gifts on, and that's what I'm inspiring people to. Through this video, through music, through helping, volunteering, to the work that I do, through my own company that I'm building up. It's to help people. It's to help people grow, to help people overcome, and to help people to be better. Set a goal in life that you can help someone else. Don't just settle for just helping yourself. I know you need your money, you need stuff to live on, and trust me, It will come, but you gotta set your goals. You gotta set your vision of where you want to lead to. Attack that vision. Go for that vision. Get yourself involved in that vision, and make sure that you do what you said you were gonna do. And don't worry about the things, the financial things, because let me tell you something. If you're skilled and you're talented in this, and if you even grow your talent in this area, and you don't know nothing about it, but you grow in this area that you want to grow in, trust me, it's gonna come to you. Your talents will bring other people to you, but you gotta pursue it. You gotta put everything that you know and you study on, you investigate, you put time to searching what you need to do. And you do that, you believe me, when you start putting your stuff out there, you will get noticed. There's some things that I've learned for September 13 and my experience through it that I want to share with you why September 13 means a lot to me. One, don't worry. Stop worrying. Life will come together. Problems will come, problems will go, but you need to just keep standing. Second, set a goal, set a vision. Make sure that that vision that you want to do is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. Not just for a certain period of time, but for the rest of it. Set yourself a vision. Write the vision down, set it up, organize it so that you can pursue it. Third of all, act on it. You have to act on it. You have to pursue that vision with everything that you are. Fourth of all, you got to be consistent on that vision. You got to keep at it. You got to keep on going, even when the time gets hard, even when the time gets easy. You got to still keep going. You got to still keep pursuing what you want to do. Fifth is discipline. Have discipline. Have discipline for what you want to do, and make sure that when you have this discipline, you attack it and you stay focused on what you want to do. Stay focused. Number 6, you research. You do your research. And that's the way you stay focused on it. You do your research on where to go, where to turn, the things that you have to do to grow in those areas. Research. And 7, love what you do, guys. Love what you do. Love it with all your heart and do it. Go out there. You can do it. I know you can. And those are the 7 things that I encourage you to do. Remember these times. Remember the times where you were struggling. Remember these times when you had moments like this when you just were at your lowest. Because it keeps you humble. It keeps you, not being prideful. And it keeps you to love people for who they are. To love where we're at. To love yourself as the person who you are. So I really encourage you guys, and I hope you enjoy my September 13 video, and hope you like it. Like it, subscribe, share this with other people, and I hope you enjoy this video. And I just want to tell you that I love you. I believe in you. You're gonna do great. I need you to believe in yourself, because I believe in you, and I know that you can believe in yourself. So guys, have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful day that God has given us. All right, guys. Laters. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I'll be more than glad to answer them. Also, don't forget to add me or follow me on my social media on this side. I have Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, and as well as YouTube, that I love to share inspirational stories, encouragement, and tips for life that can help you and improve your life to become better. And remember guys, you're the best at what you do. Have a great day.